Hiring based on personality, an invisible class. The cost of turnover or replacing an employee can be extremely high. It can cost up to $45,000 to replace an employee who earns only $30,000 a year. So this means it is extremely important for employers to hire the right people. In an attempt to cut down on turnover costs, some employers began using personality tests to match applicants to jobs. These tests were developed near the turn of the 20th century, but did not become popular until after 1988 when the federal government banned polygraphs, or lie detectors. Since then, multiple different versions have been established. Job applicants often attempt to pile in as many experiences, skills, and adjectives as possible in their resumes, but what are employers really looking for? Employers often use personality tests to look for traits like conscientiousness, openness to experience, optimism, agreeableness, stress tolerance, emotional stability, and innovation. These traits are believed to be beneficial for the job. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? On one hand, personality tests help to lower turnover costs and are often less biased than other interviews. They can help build teams that work well together, and they can find personality traits that fit well with jobs and company. It is also helpful as some previous employers do not give accurate references out of fear of defamation lawsuits. On the other hand, some personality tests may contain wrongful questions, such as questions that seem intrusive or unrelated to the job. People may falsely respond to the tests, and some of the tests may violate the Americans with Disabilities Act or Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits practices that may cause disparate impact or discriminatory use of test scores. In 2001, 33% of employers used some form of personality testing in the hiring process, and the numbers are still rising. It has grown to be a $400 million a year industry. Personality tests have been used in all sorts of industries, including the NFL, who began using the test in the 70s. But they have more recently updated and extended this test, and many issues have come to light. Some people think the test may have racial bias or disparate impact, as well as having shown to be a poor predictor of football skills, as some stars scored very low on the personality tests and vice versa. One of the main issues with these tests is that they may violate the American with Disabilities Act. In this case, employees of Rent-A-Center sued the employer, claiming that the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory, or MMPI, is a medical test, as it is often used to examine issues such as depression. And this test was used in the hiring process. The court ruled in favor of the plaintiff because it was given pre-employee. In the case Miller versus the City of Springfield, however, the use of MMPI was upheld as she was applying to the police department to become an officer. This test was deemed consistent and necessary to the job. There are many issues with using personality tests in hiring. One of the most common violations brought against employers is the violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. This act prohibits employers from not hiring a qualified individual because of a disability. The MMPI gives information about certain mental disabilities, such as depression, that may be used against them in the hiring process. The second most common claim is that it violates Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits the use of discriminatory test scores or employment practice that may cause disparate impact. The MMPI may incidentally target certain groups unevenly. Another issue with these sorts of tests is that the applicants may not always answer correctly or accurately. Some of these tests are forced choice tests, such as the Myers-Briggs. With forced choice questions, it may be hard for applicants to decide how to answer because there's not a range of situations. On other scales, such as the Likert scale used in the Big Five personality test, some people may be very unsure and therefore go for neutral answers, or answers that they feel the employer are looking for to better their chances of getting the job. Even with some negative effects, a lot of good can come from using personality tests in the hiring process. By assuring people are a good match for a job or would work well in a team may help reduce turnover costs, as well as making the workplace more enjoyable for the employees. Although the personality tests may have many flaws, such as they can become discriminatory and people may not accurately fill them in. These cases are more rare than instances where the tests are given properly and with good intention. When it is done right, it can reduce the cost of turnover, help keep a company culture, encourage good teamwork, and make the workplace more enjoyable and efficient for everyone. Overall, the benefits outweigh the negative instances of hiring using personality tests.